Hey, lovely freaks, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda.
And I'm Hannah.
And if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like things strange and unusual and true crime, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button. You can also head down to the description box and you'll see a link that will take you to all our social media, like Instagram at Lovely Freaks Podcasts, Facebook, and all that jazz.
And all that jazz!
Whoa. All right. So, yeah, happy Friday. We hope that everybody had a great week. My week was hectic, but it's fine. That's pretty much it. That's all we got going on. The end of the month, I will go ahead and say that I might be doing this podcast alone just for a week. A week. Because Hannah will be on vacay. And then the summer plans, of course, we're still going to pop out podcasts during the summer. Pop out episodes. And then we, I don't know, we're going on vacation 1 week in July. And I don't know, we might record something before we leave. Or maybe we'll do it
while we're
in the mountains. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. So I want to go ahead and tell you guys right off the bat, this case is pretty intense. It's not very long, but it is something that I wanted to talk about because I want everybody to be aware, and I want to kind of spread awareness about pretty much just shopping online and going to people's houses, going to buying things from Craigslist, which I don't think people use Craigslist anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't. Everybody uses Facebook, like Marketplace or whatever. But even if you use Facebook Marketplace or whatever, just always be cautious before you meet anybody. Like, I don't ever go to someone's house, or I don't have people come to my house unless it's like someone that I know, like if I went to school with them or something.
What is this about? There's a case.
I'll tell you in just a second. Okay. So, I was literally about to say it, but whatever. So this case is about a fetal abduction, basically.
Oh yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I remember.
I've talked to you about this. I won't go into some of the details because I don't want to spoil it before we even get there. But it's definitely pretty heavy. And also, if you are pregnant or expecting, or if you have lost a child and you want to skip this episode because that seems like something you probably can't handle at this time, that's perfectly fine. And we will catch you guys next week. But without further ado, we're going to start talking about Michelle Wilkins.
I said Michelle Pfeiffer.
No. Michelle Wilkins, also known as Ellie. But I'll call her Michelle, but people also call her Ellie. So Ellie is the victim in this case. And then Dynel, I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. Look. Doesn't that look like that's how you say that? Dynel? Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I always think it's that people say Danielle, but I'm pretty sure it's Dynel. Anyways, Dynel Lane is the piece of shit. I don't know what to call her. I was trying to think of a word.
Piece of shit.
To call her, but whatever. So yeah. We'll start with Ellie. So Michelle, I need to call her Michelle because that's what she's known by in the news and things like that. So Michelle, she was pregnant. I believe she got pregnant around September of 2014. She was very excited to have the baby. I don't really know if she was married or not, but I do know that she had her significant other and he was excited as well. You don't hear a lot about him in the news. I think I barely read somewhere, I couldn't even remember his name, but I think he just kind of stayed in the background, sort of.
Yeah.
And understandably. But they were both really excited to have a baby. She would say that she knew right away that she was going to have a girl. Like, she would have dreams that she was going to have a girl. Michelle is very awesome. She's very sweet, kind, very loving. I mean, she even, after all this that happens to her, she even has compassion for Dynel, who does this stuff to her. And she, not that she's not upset, but she does know how to, like, forgive and stuff like that. So that's just the type of person that she is. She also knew the baby's name, like, right away. She said that she wanted to kind of name her something that had to deal with nature. So they named her Aurora Sage, which I love that name.
That's cool.
I have a friend whose daughter's name is Aurora. But it's like
I think
from
of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, that's what she named her, that from that. I'm pretty sure. But she was thinking of, Aurora Borealis or something like that, in the sky. She used Craigslist for a while. She just kind of was trying to get different baby items. She said that, and most of the information that I got came from an interview. I believe it was ID Discovery. They did an episode on this entire case. But so in the interview, she said that, she said she had a lot of baby items. She just kind of wanted more stuff for the baby and different things, like I'm sure probably bottles, things like that, you know. She was just trying to get stuff that was cheaper than going to, Target or wherever, which is totally understandable because I buy all my kids' clothes at thrift shops. So she said that she was trying to find a crib online, but then she came across some free maternity clothes. And she said to herself, I don't really need those clothes. Excuse me. I think she even, text the girl on the Craigslist. They don't have their name, but they have a number where you can text. And she texted her, and then she didn't text back right away. So she was thinking to herself, I'm not even going to worry about it. I think she said she even deleted her number. Like, she even deleted the number because she was like, that's just a sign that I don't need more clothes. She was 7 months pregnant at the time. So she was pretty far along, and she only had a few more months to go. So there wasn't really any need to get any clothes. The next day, however, on March 18th, the woman that she had texted finally texted back, and that's when she found out her name was Dynel Lane. And Michelle said, can I pick those clothes up around noon? And she was like, yes, they're still available, come to my house, pick them up, it's fine. Michelle said that she was she got there around noon, and she walked up to the door. She knocked on it, and when Dynel answered, she said that she was holding her belly, which she kind of thought, okay, well, I guess she's pregnant too, but she said she didn't understand why she was selling maternity or giving away maternity clothes, but she assumed maybe she just had too many or something.
Yeah.
So they went up to Dynel's.
Did it look like she was pregnant?
Yeah, it looked like she was pregnant. Dynel was like holding her belly, and she looked like she was pregnant. Yeah. So they went up to Dynel's room. They started looking through the clothes. Dynel said that she was actually pregnant. She was expecting a boy, and she was like telling her, yeah, my friends just threw me a baby shower and all this stuff. She also said that Michelle said that she kind of was worried because she wasn't as big as someone would be if they were about to give birth, because she was telling her, like, I think she was saying she was like 8 months pregnant. And so her belly was big, but it wasn't that big,
Yeah.
And so, but she didn't want to say anything like, shouldn't you be bigger or nothing like that, because, everybody's different. So she didn't want to, like, go there. Plus, this is not somebody that she really knows. It's just somebody she's getting clothes from.
Yeah.
Michelle said that Dynel seemed lonely, and she kind of was talking about, she had 2 teenage daughters, and she was kind of talking about how her daughters don't ever really hang out with her anymore, because they're teenagers, they're doing their own thing. And Dynel was saying that her significant other, or her husband, some reports said that it was her husband, some reports said that it was just the father of the baby, like a boyfriend, so I'm not quite sure on that, but I think it was her husband. But he was working a lot, so he was hardly ever there. So she was kind of just, confiding in Michelle about all this different stuff. And Michelle said that they talked for a while, maybe like 45 minutes or something like that. Michelle then was like, okay, it's, time to go. So she started walking towards the door, and she was like talking and walking at the same time, you know how you do. And she's like, okay, well, thank you, I need to go. And she said when she went to reach for the doornail, Dynel said, oh, by the way, I have more things in the basement. She said, I might have some baby items too. Yeah. And so Michelle said that she felt like she shouldn't go down there, but at the same time, she was like, well, this woman, this is what kills me. It wasn't the fact that she thought she had this feeling like she shouldn't go down there. But at the same time, she also had a feeling like this woman is just lonely. She's pregnant. She doesn't have any friends. Yeah. You know, maybe I need to stick around and just kind of
be friendly.
Be friendly to her.
Yeah.
That's the type of person that Michelle is. Because you know me, I would have been like, nah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
Gotta go, bye.
Bye.
But, so, she said she was just going to be polite and go down there anyways. And if Dynel happened to have some, you know, baby items that were maybe girls, because she knew that she had teenage daughters, then, you know, that was a bonus that she got some baby stuff while she was there as well. So Dynel then reached around her and closed the front door. Like, she closed the door instead of Michelle closing it, which I thought was really odd. Then they started walking downstairs. Dynel was behind Michelle, and Michelle was in front. As Michelle is like waiting, Dynel went ahead and she said that she was kind of being frantic, like looking through things really frantically. And Dynel said, okay, like, I mean, I can't find what I'm looking for, you know, or whatever. And that was at the point where Michelle kind of got, like, uncomfortable. She just had this feeling of uncomfortability. Comfortable, whatever.
Uncomfortability, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was right. Mm-hmm. So she said that she was like, okay, it's time to go. So she just starts walking back upstairs without Dynel. So as they're walking back upstairs, Dynel starts walking behind her, and then she hits her in the back. And Michelle was like, okay, that was weird. She was like, was there a spider?
She just slaps her?
She slaps her on the back, hits her on the back, like hits her on the back. Mm-hmm. And Michelle was like, oh, was there a bug on me or something? You know, like, because if somebody hits you on the back, you're going to automatically think, what was it? What was it? What was on me?
What was on me?
And Dynel was like, oh, yeah, there was a spider, but I think I got it. And she was like, okay. And then she just kept walking, and as she's walking up the stairs, Dynel keeps trying to grab at her, like grabbing the back of her arms, like grabbing at her and stuff. So eventually Michelle, like, telling her, like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Like, I don't
see me
stop.
and be like, get the fuck off me now.
Yeah. So she's like, then she starts pushing her off of her because Dynel's still grabbing at her. At this point, they're like tussling back and forth. Dynel said, I don't know, why would you come into someone's house and try to hurt them? Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it gets crazy. She was like saying, why did you come in my house and hurt me? And Michelle's like, I didn't hurt you, like, get off me, you know, what are you doing? So they start wrestling. They're wrestling back and forth for a minute, and then Michelle eventually gets pushed into, like, this bedroom that's down in the basement, because this basement is kind of, I'm pretty sure this basement also is, like, a functioning, like, different rooms and stuff like that, so it's not just a basement, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to explain. So, anywho, she gets pushed into a bedroom. Dynel pushes her onto the bed, and then gets on top of her and starts strangling her. While she's strangling her, Michelle is still fighting. Mm-hmm. Dynel then picks up a lava lamp and decides to break it over Michelle's head. And before she does, Michelle's like, why are you doing this? Please stop. She even told her at one point, she was like, I love you, because she was trying to, like, connect on, like, a human level. And she was like, I love you. Please don't do this. And she was like, if you loved me, you would let me do this. That's what Dynel said.
What?
Yeah. So she breaks the lava lamp over her head. It wasn't a lava lamp that was turned on, and I was wondering about that because I thought, you know, that'll be hot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on. It was off or whatever. But I mean, still, a lava lamp, you know,
that's a big ass. Yeah.
They're
very
thick.
Heavy.
So she then takes a piece of the broken lava lamp and starts stabbing Michelle in the neck. Then Michelle at this point kind of passes out and you know, goes out. So we're going to kind of talk about Dynel now just for a second. Dynel had 2 kids, like I said. She had a daughter, 2 daughters. They were teenagers. And she also had a son at one point, but he died when he was around 2 years old. So some people wonder, like, maybe she was kind of dealing with the depression and type of stuff as well. She wanted to keep her husband, I'm assuming that's what it was, with her. I don't know if they were like having problems. There's not a lot of information about Dynel and that whole situation, because once she goes to trial, like, her husband kind of starts taking up for her and stuff like that, and saying that she's not crazy and she's actually a nice person and blah blah blah, which, okay, whatever. But anyways, so there's not a lot of information, but what I'm kind of wondering is maybe they were having problems, and in order to keep him around, she was going to say that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She was going to be like, oh, we're having a baby, you know, because I think I read somewhere that after her 2-year-old son died, after she had him, she had her tubes tied, but I don't think she ever told her husband that. And, so yeah. She claimed to be pregnant for a really long time, though. This is the part that confuses me. She told her husband for 15 months.
What?
She would keep saying she's pregnant.
What?
Yeah. I don't understand that. I don't know.
Why didn't he put to... Maybe he's just stupid.
I don't know if it was that. I don't know if maybe she kept saying... Oh, maybe she kept saying she was having miscarriages, and then... But, I mean, if you're having that many miscarriages, I'm pretty sure as a husband, wouldn't you want to be like, let's go to the doctor, like something's wrong,
something's
you know?
wrong.
Yeah, so, anywho, yeah, she kept telling him she was pregnant for like 15 months. So, he was getting suspicious, obviously. The day of the attack, he actually set up a doctor's appointment because he wanted to, like, go see the baby. He wanted to go see the doctor because she would always schedule appointments when he wasn't available, conveniently. And so he was like, we're going to the doctor. I want to see the baby. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why you've been pregnant for so long. So, I mean, I'm assuming maybe he didn't know maybe he didn't think it was 15 months. Maybe he thought it was, shorter than that a little bit. But anywho, so that's pretty much her story. Now we're going to go back to after she stabs Michelle in the neck. So we're back on March 18th, and she stabbed Michelle in the neck. At this point, she then picks up a knife that she had near her somewhere, and she cuts Michelle from hip to hip. She starts performing a C-section right there on the bed. She then cuts to try to keep from cutting the baby, and she does a good job of it, I guess, because she didn't cut the baby. But she then takes the baby out, and she goes and places the baby in an upstairs bathroom face down. Yeah.
Why face down?
I don't understand that either. I mean,
was she trying to kill it?
I don't
didn't
know.
want to, like, physically do it?
I don't know. I thought when I first read this story and heard about it, I thought, oh, she wants to, like, I knew it was a fetal abduction, so I knew what that meant. I knew that somebody had their baby taken from them in the womb. So I was like, okay, well, this baby, they're going to want to keep it. That's the point of that. But I'm thinking that she wanted the sympathy or something, or maybe she was trying to, well, we'll get into because there's more. Okay. So anyways, she she puts the baby face down. Then she goes back downstairs and she calls her husband, and she's like, I'm ready for the appointment, are you almost there, almost here, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm almost there. Be ready when I get there so that way we can go ahead and go, whatever. So he gets to the house. When he gets there, she, like, runs downstairs and she's like, oh my God, I just had a miscarriage and the baby's in the tub.
What?
Yeah. So David, her husband, is like, oh my God, is the baby alive? What? What's going on? He's freaking out. He's just, like, one-track mind. He's like, okay, we got to get to the hospital.
The baby, yeah.
So they rush to the ER, and David never knew that Michelle was, like, in the basement dying, bleeding to death. So when Michelle, like, So they go to the hospital. Okay, we'll start there. Sorry if you hear my papers.
So he didn't notice that she was like
no, because
fine
she's
looking.
Oh yeah, that was another. That was what I was gonna say. Like, I don't understand why he didn't notice. She had her bra. She had just her bra on and some pants, I believe. Mm-hmm. So she didn't. But I mean, if you had just had a miscarriage, first of all,
you wouldn't be running up there.
It's not a miscarriage if the baby is
completely out of
almost. No, the baby is like 7 months old. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't think that would be a miscarriage. I think that would be a stillbirth, not a miscarriage. David also said that the baby took like a breath, and that's kind of important to talk about because we'll explain why that's important later on here in just a little bit in the trial. But yeah, he said that the baby took a breath and then stopped kind of breathing, or there was shallow breathing or something. So then they rushed to the ER. Mm. So the dispatcher, her name is Beth Kemper, and she is awesome. I just want to put that out there. She's like a really awesome dispatcher. So she said that the call came in March 18th, like we said, 2015 at 14:41. That was the time. And that's when the call came in. 14:41. I think that's 1 o'clock or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. I don't know.
2 o'clock or 3.
I don't know. I should know military time. I'm an Army wife, but whatever.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
So, okay. I should know that. But anyways, so she got the call. So what happened was Michelle came to, and she was like hurt. She said she remembered she was in pain, and it was in her stomach, but she couldn't remember like.
I can't believe this girl's still alive because she's got stabbed in the neck, right?
Yeah. Oh, no. She got stabbed in the neck and her stomach's cut open.
Too, yeah.
So she remembers feeling pain, but she couldn't remember, like, if... I guess she couldn't feel like, okay, I'm cut open or nothing like that.
Yeah.
She kept thinking, okay, I've been stabbed in the neck. I know that much. I'm having pain in my stomach, so there's something wrong with the baby. Like, that's what she kept thinking. She said that... she tried to get up and she couldn't. Of course, she's lost like, I don't know, half the volume of her blood at this point. So she's pretty, woozy. She can't really move hardly. But she finally like stumbles up on her feet. She then walks a few steps but collapses to her knees. And when she does, like, that's when she kind of feels her stomach. And she said at one point, I don't know if it was then or a little bit later, but her intestines kind of fell out. Yeah.
What'd she do? Just pick them up and put them back inside her?
She said what she did was then she had pregnancy pants on, and they're kind of tight over the belly. So she kind of held her stomach and then just pulled the pregnancy pants up. And she still didn't know if the baby was in her belly or if... she didn't really connect those dots. She just knew she was in pain. She needed to get to the hospital. So she finally finds a phone somewhere. I don't know if it was her phone or whatever. I think it was her cell phone. And she calls 911. And the 911 dispatcher, is asking her all these questions and everything. And the 911 dispatcher, Beth, she said, I could tell that she was breathing shallow, and she said when anybody calls like that on a dispatch call, like it's serious, like something's wrong. And she kept saying, she was barely talking, and she was just like taking a breath, and you could tell in the call that she was really like what's the word I'm looking for?
Out of breath?
No.
Shaken up?
No. Weak.
Couldn't
think of it. I can't think today. She was very weak, And so then the whole time she's asking her what's going on. Obviously, she needs to know. And she said, I'm pregnant. I've been attacked. That's all she said. And she was like, is anybody else in the house with you? And she said, no, I don't know. I think there's somebody else in the house. So she immediately dispatches police. So police get there eventually, and Billy Sawyer was one of the police officers on the scene first. He could see blood going to the basement and up the stairs, because when you open the door to this house, as soon as you open the door, there's like a little foyer area where you can stand, and then there's stairs that go straight up, and then there's the basement that goes right there. So when he opened the door, he could see blood up the stairs and down to the basement. He said he kept yelling, police, we're here, does anybody need help? And they could faintly hear a woman yelling, like, help, 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 in the background. And the 911 operator was still on the call. He said there was blood everywhere, and Michelle was completely covered in blood. The dispatcher told them that she was pregnant, of course, and they were a little confused because when they got there, her stomach was like completely flat. And the paramedic crew even thought that she wasn't pregnant. So at that point, they were thinking, okay, maybe she's the suspect and the victim is somewhere else. Like, maybe she just got, stabbed in the neck while she was trying to hurt somebody else. They were just really confused.
Yeah.
So they pulled, they're looking at her and all that. And eventually they see that she has pregnancy pants on. To which eventually they pull her pregnancy pants down. And when they pull her pregnancy pants down, they see the cut from hip to hip. And they're like, oh shit. At that moment, they realize, okay,
the baby's been taken.
This baby's been taken. The dispatcher did her research, though. Apparently, I didn't realize this. And she said, in the interview on the show, she was like, once you're dispatched, your job's not over. She said usually what we do is after that we try to like see who lives in the house or whose car, if it's a car situation, whose car is it or something like that. They're like doing all this research while they're on, after the call, after they hang up the phone. So she did her research, and she eventually found out that the house belonged to Dynel Lane. She then, the police officers were like, we think that this is a case where this baby has been taken. We're looking at a fetal abduction. Yeah. And she was like, okay. So she called all the local hospitals in the area, which there wasn't very many because it's a small town. It's, I don't remember if I said, it's in Colorado. It's in Longmont, Colorado. So she calls the hospital. She calls the main hospital, and she's like, hey, is there a woman that has come in recently with a baby that said, it's hers, and this baby's born, not at the hospital? And they were like, actually, yeah, there is somebody in here like that. They're like, okay. So they rush Michelle to the hospital, obviously, and when they get there, she's critical condition, so they're just dealing with that. Meanwhile, the baby, Aurora, unfortunately, she did not make it. And Dynel and David are like in the grieving process, because before Michelle gets there, or before the hospital even finds out, like, maybe this is not her kid, the hospital, when they got the baby there, the baby was pronounced dead not too long after they got there. Yeah. I don't remember how long, but it wasn't long. And then they kind of they think that this is the parents, so they're going to let them have a moment with the kid, a moment with the baby. And while they were doing that, David is sitting there like crying, bawling, because he thinks this is his kid that's just died. This is his little girl. Yeah. Meanwhile, Dynel's like sitting over there. She keeps telling them, they were like, we need to check you out. We need to make sure that, you're not hemorrhaging or anything like that. And she's just like, no, don't worry about me. Just focus on him. Talking about her husband.
And she's not even crying and everything.
Yeah, she's not crying. She's not upset. Which maybe doesn't mean much to medical professionals at the moment, because they're thinking maybe she's in shock or whatever. Yeah. So they eventually start asking her questions. Once they find out Michelle's there, and that whole situation, they go to her, and Dynel, obviously, she's going to lie. She starts lying at first, and she starts saying that, like, I didn't even know there was a girl at my house. Like, what are you talking about? There's no girl at my house. There's no one. I have no idea who Michelle is. Like, there's no way there was somebody in my house. And they're like, well, there was, and this woman is in pretty bad shape, Yeah. Finally, a detective she gets there, and she starts interviewing her. And Dynel, like, gave them this bullcrap story about how this woman ended up in her basement, and this is what she says. I'm going to quote. She said, I think the dispatcher asked her, like, what happened? Like, we know there was somebody in your basement. We don't know if that's your baby or not, but you need to tell us what happened. So she said, quote, she kept trying to hit me, and I asked her, what are you doing? I was like, stop, you know. I was grasping at her, and she was grasping at me. And then all of a sudden, I had her down. I had her down, and I was trying to tell her to stop, like she had her down on the ground. Mm-hmm. What happened next? The detective asked. She said, Dynel said, quote, I think I choked her after she stopped moving. I got scared, and I thought that I had killed her, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want the baby to die, too. Then she starts, like, crying and, you know, freaking out, and she's mm-hmm. like, she said, I'm not this kind of person. I don't do stuff like this. Like, I don't know what to do. I had the knife, and all I could think was I needed to get the baby out. End quote. So she's basically saying that this woman comes over to her house, and then maybe to like, you know, get some clothes or whatever. Then she attacks her. Michelle attacks her, mm-hmm. and she eventually, like, they tussle forever, and then she gets on top of her and she starts strangling her to try to keep her from attacking her. I don't think I know. And then she just passes out. Michelle
she
does.
Thinks, I gotta save that baby.
And she thinks that the baby's gonna die, so that's her defense. Her defense is that she was being attacked.
She's so stupid, though, because that would... how could you explain the stab marks on
the neck? And why would you just not call 911 in that moment?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just, like, get off of her and be like, oh shit, and call 911 and be like, there's this woman, she tried to attack me, you know, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just ridiculous to me. So we're going to now talk about, you know, when Michelle wakes up. She wakes up in the hospital, and of course right away she's asking about Aurora. She found out that she didn't make it, and she kind of went into like a panic attack, and she still had tubes in her at the time, like tubes down her throat and everything, because she had pretty intense surgery, and she just starts freaking out. She finally got to see her, though, like 3 days later, because it took her a while to heal enough to, like, take the tubes out and everything. Yeah. And it was so sweet, because she said there was somehow there was a stillborn photographer there, because there are sometimes mm-hmm. photographers that will come to hospitals to do photo shoots for, like, stillbirths and stuff. Yeah. And so that way you'll have that memory, you know. And there happened to be one there that day, and so she asked her if she could take some photos, and she did. And they took some photos together, you know, Aurora and her. She said that she sang to her, and she got to hold her, like, all day. Yeah, it was really sweet. And so I just thought that was so precious. So and you can see the pictures, you know, online, and you can see what she looked like. She was a gorgeous baby. But yeah, she said, you know, those were my last. I wanted a moment with her, because I didn't get that. I was robbed of that. I wanted a moment with her. So the district attorney, obviously Dynel gets arrested. I mean, you guys can kind of guess that. Yeah. But the district attorney for the state, his name was Stan Garnett. I don't know, his name was Stan. I'm horrible with last names. And he said that they were having trouble charging Dynel with murder of the baby. And let me explain why, because this part doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So, in Colorado, the law in Colorado states that a person is not a human being unless it lives independently outside of its mother. And the coroner said that they had no way to know if she ever took a breath or lived for even a moment outside of Michelle's womb.
So that's why the breath is important, because she did take a breath, the baby.
He said that she did, But then I think later on in court he was saying that didn't happen or something like that. I don't fucking understand it at all. Yeah. Like, it pisses me off. Spoiler alert, she gets 100 years. She gets sentenced to 100 years in prison. But, and I don't think she gets the possibility of parole, but she does get to appeal. I don't really care. Because if she wouldn't have taken the baby out of the womb that it was living in to survive, then it wouldn't have died. Therefore, it's murder. Also, there was abortion people that were like freaking out, but that still doesn't have anything to do with this because Michelle didn't make the choice to have an abortion. Therefore, or not have this baby. Therefore, it's not considered an abortion. It's considered murder. Like, I don't understand.
Because it wasn't her choice to get rid of the baby.
Yeah, it wasn't her choice. She didn't go into a clinic and decide that she couldn't take care of this child and didn't want to have this baby. She was literally attacked and forcefully the baby was taken from her. So yeah, I just think it's bullshit.
And the child was literally murdered because the mother wanted it to live and have a life, and she took that life away. So it's nothing about abortion, or it's nothing about...
Yeah, there were Democrats.
It's not a human.
The Democrats and the Republicans were arguing, and I think at one point the Democrats were like scared that, oh, well, if we say that this is murder, the Republicans are going to try to come for abortion next and blah blah. But I mean, abortion has always been in debate for Republicans and Democrats, so I didn't really see the point in trying to make that argument.
Yeah, this is a murder case. This is not about an abortion case.
So whatever. But Michelle did say though that she felt, I don't understand this. She felt dispassionate about the decision, the murder decision. She said because if Dynel was going to be charged with murder, they were going to probably give her the death penalty, and she was going to speak out against that. She didn't want her to die. She didn't want her to have the death penalty. Maybe that's another reason why, because it's not that Michelle didn't want her to get charged with murder, it's just that she also knew that she would get the death penalty, and that wasn't something that I guess she supports.
That's
a better person than me, because I support it 100%, especially in this kind of case, but whatever. She was charged with attempted murder, obviously, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and assault. They believe that she intended to murder her because, or hurt Michelle, not murder her, because she was placing an ad for pregnant people to, like, come get clothes, which obviously she was lying about. She was also lying about her own pregnancy, and they found in her Google search history that she was Googling women's anatomy. Not necessarily like how to perform a C-section, but definitely looking at the anatomy of a woman's body, maybe trying to figure out if I cut here, cut there, something like that. February 17th, 2016 was when court started. Her trial started. The whole time the trial was going on, Dynel didn't ever look at Michelle at all. She never cried. The only time she cried was when she was on the witness stand telling her testimony, like about how she attacked her. She still was saying that Michelle attacked her the whole time.
Really? Oh, so we never have an explanation why she did that?
We have no idea why. No idea. Oh, her family eventually was kind of on her side. They were kind of saying, they were saying like, she's a good person, we don't understand why she would have done this. Her ex-husband, though, that she had her 2 daughters with, he said at one point, I saw where there was an interview with him, and he was like, I didn't ever expect her to do this, like, it's crazy. Not that he wasn't saying, I'm behind her or nothing like that. He was just saying that she didn't seem like the type of person that would do this. So, after the jury deliberated, they deliberated for like a day and a half, I think. Obviously, she was found guilty. And Michelle definitely has compassion and stuff, because she said that she wanted her to get help that she needed to get. You know, she did address her, because at the end of the trial, the family can address the murder or whatever person that does something to them in trial. And she addressed her, and she was like, you know, you didn't cry the whole time we were in here. The only time you cried was when you were telling your own story, which she was like, that's kind of a narcissistic trait, you know. Yeah. And she was just like, I hope that you get the help that you need, but you took my child away from me. So she did understand. Like, it's not that she was friendly to her or anything like that, or she wasn't upset. She was upset, but at the same time, she knew that there was something mentally wrong with her, obviously.
Sounds like, there's something mentally wrong. I feel like maybe she did it because either to lie to her husband, which just adopt a child, or like not lie to your husband.
Or just be like, my tubes are tied. I don't understand. I don't even know if the 2-year-old was like his baby. I have no idea. I couldn't find any information out about that. If y'all know, let me know, because I couldn't find it anywhere. She was sentenced to 100 years in prison, though, like I said. And yeah, I have no idea why she did it. No idea. I think it was because she was... I think she was crazy. I mean, probably depressed because her 2-year-old son had died. I get that. Maybe that's another reason why she kind of lied about the pregnancy, because she wanted to try and invent this pregnancy in her head because she missed her son so much. It's a very strong possibility that could have happened. And then it just kind of got out of hand. It got too far. And then she was kind of thinking, what the hell am I going to do, you know? Yeah. I definitely think she intended to do something to Michelle that day. I don't know if she really thought about it. It just seemed like to me that she hesitated for a while, because she could have attacked her at any point, you know. Then she almost let her go, but then she's like, oh, I may have some clothes downstairs, you know. So it's not like it was a well thought out plan to me, but it definitely was something you can tell that she was kind of thinking about, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy, though. The part where she puts the baby face down in the tub baffles me, because I thought she was going to want to keep the baby. I was like, okay, she's going to steal this baby. I'm going to claim. But I guess it might have been hard for her to... I don't know. Maybe she was thinking, how am I going to claim that this kid is mine? You know, that I'm going to have to hide a body. Like, so maybe she just thought, I'll just say that I had a miscarriage. But that was kind of stupid, too, because they're going to know. When they did that's another thing. They did a sonogram on her, because she finally let them, like, do a sonogram in the hospital. They had already realized that Michelle was there and this was going on, but they still did the sonogram, and they were like, yeah, there's no signs that you were even pregnant at all. Like, so... she was never pregnant, and yeah, it's just crazy. But yes, that is the story of Michelle Wilkins and Dynel Lane and Aurora Sage, sweet baby. Her mom, Michelle, said that she has her ashes, and she said one day her dream is to go spread her ashes under the Aurora Borealis. One day. That'll be super. I thought that was super cute and sweet. So, lesson of the day is, please do not go to anybody's house if you want to get things from someone. Meet in a public place. That's what I always do. I always meet in a public place, like a gas station.
Attacked her, I was just thinking, why would you say you wanted, like, you were selling maternal clothes? Yeah, maternity clothes. Like, why would you say that when you're not selling them? Like, you were trying to lure her in, and she attacked you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Well, she was giving maternity clothes away.
Yeah.
I mean, she had them. Because, I mean, she convinced, obviously, her friends and family that she was pregnant. They threw a baby shower for her. Remember I said that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was, like, boy clothes. There's pictures of her, like, holding up boy clothes. And the husband looks so happy. And it's crazy. But anyways, yeah. So do not, back to what I was saying. Don't meet anybody. Meet in a public place.
Yep.
Yeah. Be cautious. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. I know I am constantly. But anyways, well, we hope that you guys learned a little bit from this episode and you kind of, got a little bit of a lesson out of this and not really enjoyed this episode, but I definitely think that Michelle's story needs to be out there. There's a lot of, and especially like from 2005 to probably like 2017, there was a lot of fetal abductions, a lot of pregnant women like getting lured to like the woods and stuff, and a lot of it started. Craigslist was just a shit show from the beginning. I mean, Craigslist is not like Facebook. Craigslist, have you ever been on Craigslist? Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if it's still up. I don't ever go on anymore, but I did back in the day. You can't see a picture of anybody. There's no profile. There's just a phone number and an address maybe to come to the spot, or you just have to text somebody and hope that they're not a murderer. So there's a lot of Craigslist murders also that have happened out there. A lot. Well, yeah. We'd go down a long rabbit hole. But so anyways, yeah. But Facebook now is a little bit better because at least you can kind of like click on somebody's profile. You can see if maybe they're friends with anybody you know. But there's still janky profiles out there. You just kind of have to be careful. But still,
meet somewhere public, like meet somewhere public.
Yeah, Walmart,
somewhere where there's a lot of people.
Any kind of store.
Park in the front.
Yeah, especially teenagers. Like, don't go to somebody's house, or don't go meet somebody in like an abandoned parking lot or something. Be like, I'll meet you at Target or in the mall or something.
Yeah. And then get there earlier than you're supposed to be. Like, if you say you're moving at 2, be there at like 1:40, and then be like, hey, I'm at the lotion section.
Yeah,
that'd be weird.
I even like if I
the kids section.
If I the lotion, it puts the lotion on its
I'm
skin.
at the lotion section.
So I even like meet people. There's a Dunkin' Donuts not far from our house, and so I'll usually meet people there. Mm-hmm. If I need to like give them something, even some of my clients that I have like photography for, if I need to give them like photos or something, I'll meet them there. Not that I don't know most of my clients, but some of them I don't. I mean, I'm just doing one photo shoot for them. They're new people that I've just met. So, and I'll like leave and then not go directly home. I'll like go to a store or go do something and then go home because I don't want them to follow me home. I'm very paranoid. Not so bad. I'm not that bad. Like, I don't, I'm not like have a fortress surrounding my house, but I'm definitely
like leave and go somewhere else just in case.
Yeah, make sure there's nobody following you. So
park at the front.
Yeah. Don't park in the back.
Yeah.
Don't park in the back or on the side of a movie theater. That's all another story. Mm-hmm. Anyways, okay. Well, we hope that you guys have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. Go ahead and like this episode and subscribe. Give us a review on Apple iTunes, guys. We need those reviews. That helps. It helps. Also, follow us on social media. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.